How y'all doing tonight? You good? Yep. Okay, like literally, I've been, get this thing right, I have my hair is too long. Last week, Megan gave an awesome talk. I need you guys to stick with me tonight because I have a lot to say and I want to get it in. So last week, Megan gave the talk. And I just want to recap that for a second for some of you who might not have been here. She said that we have a problem and that problem is sin. And I know a lot of people like to turn off when you hear the word sin. And mostly it's because you don't want to have to deal with your own. But Megan said that sin is like a leak in the roof, right? And she said we can do things like we can grab buckets and put under the leak. We can get towels and try to clean up the mess. But the problem is not the water all over this. The problem is the leak. The leak is that's sin. And so I want to talk a little bit about the mess that's made from sin. She said that this is the mess from the leak in the roof. And it ends up with like rotten boards and stuff. A lot of people think that consequences to sin are things like getting in trouble at school, maybe your parents getting mad at you and grounding you. Those are consequences to sin, or going to jail. But really, those aren't consequences to sin. Those are actually people trying to prevent you from actually experiencing the real consequences of sin. In Galatians 5, and you can bring that up on the screen, Galatians 5, verses, wow, where's it at? Okay, here it is, verses 16 through 18. It says, there is a root of sinful self-interest in us that is at odds with the free spirit. So the root is the sinful self-interest. What that is that's you saying, my way, God, not your way. My way, not your way. That's the root of all sin. That's the root of it. Okay? It says this, and listen up, guys. I need you to be mature about this because it says some things that some people like to giggle at. But I guarantee you that if you listen to this, you will say, I have experienced that. If you've been living in sin, you'll say, I've experienced that. It says that there's two ways of life and that they're not compatible with each other. That you need to choose to live the free way. And this is what results. It says, it's obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your own way all the time. Repetitive, loveless, cheap sex. A stinking accumulation of mental and emotional garbage. Frenzied and joyless grabs for happiness. Trinket gods. Magic show religion. Paranoid loneliness. Cutthroat competition. All-consuming, yet never satisfied wants. A brutal temper. An impotence to love or to be loved. Divided homes and divided lives. Small-minded and lopsided pursuits. The vicious habit of depersonalizing everyone into a rival. Uncontrolled and uncontrollable addictions. Ugly parodies of community. Fake friends, fake families, fake groups. I could go on. If you use your freedom this way, you will not inherit God's kingdom. Romans says it like this. Romans 6:23 says, for the wages of sin is death. And so this is the end result. This is always the end result. Death. Okay? And we've talked about some things here, like Dale talked about your candles getting blown out. So I'm talking about this sin, and these are the consequences of that. I know that you guys have felt some of those things, but you've also felt some of those things from other people's sins. And so I want everybody to write on your cards, I know how you feel. Just write right now on your cards, I know how you feel. I'm going to read some things. I want, and like I said, I need you guys to stick with me and be mature and not be like laughing and distracting, because we won't get through if we don't. So I need everybody to stand up once you've written I know how you feel on your card. If everybody could stand up. Alright, so I'm going to tell you some things, and what I want you to do is, if I read a statement, listen up y'all, if I read a statement that you can relate to, that you've had happen in your life, I want you to put your card in the air, and then I want you to make eye contact with somebody that maybe is not in your friend group and exchange paper, okay? So wait till I finish reading the whole statement before you put it up. So, alright, so here's the first one, guys, okay? If you've ever been lied to, like lied straight to your face, if you've ever just been lied right to your face, put your card in the air. Okay, now make eye contact with somebody maybe that you don't even know and exchange cards. Let's keep it chill. Let's keep it chill. Let's keep it chill. Okay, guys. Let's keep it chill. You can exchange with somebody you know if you know everybody in here. Okay, here's another one, okay? Wait till I finish this whole thing, okay? Alright, listen up. If you've ever either had all your friends let you down, or you've been betrayed by a best friend, by one of your best friends, if you've ever had all your friends let you down, alright, now change with somebody that you haven't changed with before. Exchange with somebody you haven't exchanged with before. Keep it down, y'all. Keep it cool. Keep it cool. Keep it cool. Alright. Alright, listen up. Here's the next one. Listen up, y'all. Listen up, here's the next one. This one might be a little bit harder to raise your hand on. I feel like a lot of people have probably experienced. If you've ever been mocked or made fun of, put your card in there. Pass it to someone. Keep it cool. Keep it cool. Okay. Alright guys, we're about to get real. This next one's real. Wait till I finish with this whole thing before you put your card up, okay? Alright, listen up, this one's real. If you've ever been abused, and abuse comes in many forms. So this could be physical abuse, this could be sexual abuse, or this could be emotional abuse. But if you've ever been abused, put your card in the air and exchange with somebody who you never exchanged with. Okay. Alright, listen up. This is the last one, okay? This is the last one. If you've ever felt alone or forsaken, put your card in the air and pass it to someone that you haven't passed with. Ever felt alone or forsaken? Okay, now I want everybody to do me a favor, and if you pass on any of the things, if you pass your card, if you raise your hand at all, I want you to bring your card and lay it right here at the front of the stage. Lay your card right here at the front of the stage. And listen up. Listen up. The reason you're doing this, the reason you're laying it right here is because Jesus experienced every single one of those things. Have you ever been lied to? Matthew 26:25. When Judas, already turned traitor, said, "It isn't me, is it, Rabbi?" Jesus said, "Don't play games with me, Judas. You ever had all your friends let you down, been betrayed by a best friend?" Matthew 26:31. Jesus said to his disciples, "During this very night," listen up, y'all, listen up. "During this very night, all of you will reject me, as the scriptures say, I will strike down the shepherd and the sheep will be scattered." And all Jesus' friends, you can grab a seat once you get back. All Jesus' friends did reject him. Jesus was about to be crucified, and he went to the Garden of Gethsemane to pray. And it says, listen up, y'all. And it says that he was so distraught that he sweated blood. He sweated drops of blood. And all he asked his friends to do was to stay with him and pray with him. And they fell asleep. And then once they got Jesus, Peter rejected him, and all of his disciples, all of his best friends left him all alone. In Matthew 26:47, it says, Jesus was still speaking when Judas the betrayer came up. He was one of the 12 disciples, and a large mob armed with swords and clubs was with him. They had been sent by the chief priest and the nation's leader. One of his best friends betrayed him, and betrayed him over to the Pharisees. Jesus knows what all of that feels like. You ever been abused physically, sexually, emotionally, felt alone or forsaken? Jesus knows what that's like. It says, "Then the governor's soldiers took Jesus into Praetorium and gathered the whole company of soldiers around him. They stripped him. They stripped all his clothes off of him, put a scarlet robe on him, and then they twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on his head. They put a staff in his right hand and knelt in front of him and mocked him. 'Hail, King of the Jews,' they said. They spit on him, and then they took the staff and they struck him on the head with it. And it says they struck him in the head again and again. Then they mocked him some more." All this was after they whipped Jesus with this whip that had lead in the end of it and shards of bone and glass that would rip your flesh off. And they whipped him within inches of his life. And then they did this mocking and stripping him naked and spitting on him, beating him in the head. Jesus knows what abuse feels like.